What's good, nerds? Welcome to episode. What episode is this? Five. Episode 5, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. What happened last time? Juan wasn't here.
We thought he would never come back.
And yet here he is.
Somehow.
Say hello, Juan.
Hello.
Don't say hello.
Hello.
Before we start, do you want to maybe share your opinion on what we talked about last episode?
E3.
Yeah, E3.
Nah,
All
there's
right.
not much I'm going to talk about it.
All right. Well, then it's probably convenient that we left you off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today we have a special guest. We have why don't you introduce yourself, actually?
Yeah. I'm Mr. O. There's no need for my full last name because I don't think anybody knows it. So.
Hey, hold on. I don't think it's picking you up.
Yeah.
So, how we position ourselves? All right.
Nice.
So like I was saying, yeah, I'm Mr. O. Very happy to be here. I was very excited when y'all said that you were gonna do this project, and I listened to a couple of the episodes, and it's entertaining.
Oh wow!
And I was like,
You already have.
I was like, I want to get in there one day and learn. I think I play games. I don't always finish them. So I think you picked a good game if you're discussing Mario Odyssey, because I actually finished this game, and it's the first game I finished in about 10 years.
Oh boy!
That like really just play through. So this year I'm 2 for 2 with Mario and God of War.
Which one?
So the latest one, which is 4, but it's only called God of War because it's not like a reboot, but it's kind of a reboot, but it's continuing the story.
What's a revival?
Right,
I guess you could
revival,
say.
kind
Like
of whatever that is, right?
video
Like,
game, which was turned into a movie and then after
but like-
that video game.
It's the story after he died.
it's the story continuing, change the mythological creatures and whatnot. But no, it wasn't. I bought a Switch this year, so I was like, yeah, let me get in this booth with y'all. Like,
What's weird is that Kratos now has an axe in the game instead of his
he has
his
a-
two wielding.
He gets
blades.
it back.
And he has a beard.
Yeah,
He never had a beard.
you know
and a companion and a boy between his side as well.
what? It's funny that I'm in here, 5 episodes in, and obviously I'm a lot older than y'all, right? I've probably been playing games longer than y'all. Some of y'all been alive.
Oh, much longer.
But I was listening to another podcast or reading this article talking about how because people closer to my age are like getting into the time in their life when they're starting to have kids, people that are making games are now making these games with these stories where like you have a child or like
Oh yeah, that.
you're like, there's a couple, I forget what other game they mentioned, but they were saying like there's this kind of this trend where folks are like, in the game the story isn't about just being like angry and running and adventure, but like it has some kind of like child or marriage or something, and it's in response to people that like grew up in the like late 80s, early 90s playing video games, that they're now adults and they're on getting married and they're still playing games, right? Like they're still gaming very much, but maybe the stories weren't appealing to them as much, so they're trying to like diversify and provide these other narratives. So I'd be interested like 20 years from now when y'all are in your like 30s, what a game like God of War means, right? Like if you played it's amazing game, you play it when you're a teenager, you're not thinking about kids or like having kids, right? And then 20 years, what those games will look like, because these are the games that you're growing up with, right? Because I grew up with these other games that wasn't part of the narrative.
It's really interesting that you bring that up, actually, because like the people nowadays, like, in fact, they say that like there are arguments that story in a video game is like one of the low points, because when in reality it's like it can be in fact a game's selling point. We look at games like that are still coming out, like Detroit Become Human, or
Oh,
It involves a lot of kids in that one, surprisingly.
yeah, that
and
too.
robots.
Yeah, every
Definitely.
turning point for the robots for becoming deviants, that's how they called them. A child is surprisingly involved in it. One of the female characters there, she only became deviant because the kid is something happened to the kid. The other one, same thing. 3 of them so far are the same thing. They're kids getting hurt, and then they jump in and become deviants.
See, I don't follow a lot of Detroit Become Human because it's by David Cage, who made Heavy Rain, and Heavy Rain is
It's okay.
it doesn't seem like my cup of tea exactly. But I think the story is definitely one of its main points and not really the gameplay, which is fine. There are a lot of games that are extremely story-driven nowadays, like Telltale games, The Walking Dead. A lot of their episodic games really are mostly story-driven, since you don't expect much else from a point-and-click.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. Is Kingdom Hearts story-driven?
Yeah, kind
Kind
of.
of.
There is.
No, very, very scary.
Yeah.
I mean, not extremely, I'm pretty sure, right?
Extremely story-driven.
I mean, I've never played Kingdom Hearts. I've seen folks play it. When Heavy Rain came out, you said that.
Yeah.
I was really juiced about the demo. I remember I was sitting there with my partner. She doesn't really game, and she was like, "Oh, this game is interesting." And I think it was just the accessibility
Oh, yes.
of the game that welcomed her in. Like right now, we play like Overcooked or different things, and because she doesn't game, she like still thinks that like swinging the controller is gonna get the character, things that I did when I was a kid or my mom did when I was a kid and I had the first Nintendo. And so I think Heavy Rain was that, but for me it was too slow paced. I was just like, oh, I don't know, like I like this game, the story's cool.
Oh.
But that was about 10 years ago. I was younger, and now I'm like, you know what? I prefer the story than to all the action, because I've played so many games, right? Like I've played all the Call of Duties, all these like action games, and all these like adventure games, and it kind of starts getting saturated. You want cool mechanics, but you want a story, right? Like, and I think like God of War did that really well.
Like, it's usually hard to get out of your seat when
yeah.
you're actually looking through the game
Yeah.
and its story.
Well, like even like Mario, right? Like the story isn't like very scripted. You're not tearing at the end of Mario necessarily, but they do.
I mean, I did.
And that's great. Maybe it does appeal to these things. I was just when I caved and bought the Nintendo Switch, right? And because I already own every other console, and I think it was more like when I was a kid, I couldn't afford them, and I had a Nintendo, and that was it. I never had a GameCube or Nintendo 64 or Sega or Super Nintendo. Or I didn't even have the first PlayStation. Nothing. I didn't have anything. I had the Nintendo that my parents bought me, and then it wasn't until I was like 18, 19 that I started working and could afford these things that I started buying games again. And now that I'm in like a real adult, I have like some like excess money. I'm like, oh, I'll take this, and I'll start hoarding and stacking games and never playing them, much to the detriment of like the youth that I work with, because they're like, what the are you doing? How are you not playing these things?
Fact,
and you have that.
That's how some people handle their Steam libraries. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, Caleb?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
Caleb, oh my God, you have so many games in your Steam library.
Most of them have been played for at least 0.1 hours.
0.01 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm
And
sure
you-
there's only 20 games that have been played for less than that.
Why do you have so many games? Where do you get the money?
Things I plan to play and then don't play, and
and they're really cheap, right, on Steam sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steam like practically
And
gives
so-
games away.
Steam,
Yeah.
Steam sales.
Like how I
Yeah, no,
finished
I've bought a
Rayman
couple.
Legends and never played the game at all. No, really, I have played it, and I've beat every single level in that game and just stopped playing it all of a sudden because there were new ones coming out.
Well, I mean, I think what's important is at least finishing the game, right? Because then you can like draw your own opinions. You can like look at it critically and determine whether it's good or bad. You can look forward to a sequel.
Yeah.
Which they will never do for Rayman,
Of course they won't.
unfortunately.
I mean, I wish we would get that, but I guess that'll be a while.
It'll be a long time until we get another Rayman game.
But sometimes we can't even finish the story because there is no story.
I mean, in Rayman Legends there was a story mode, basically just a nightmares attacking the Glade of Dreams.
Yeah, but even then, it wasn't that story-driven.
I mean, it wasn't. It was just, the same thing Rayman does in his universe.
He just kind of runs around, jumps on stuff.
Yeah, I feel
Kills
like
people.
every time I've played, they all the same to me, and I'm like, oh, I can't play this anymore.
See, like, that's the thing. Video games follow, like, I don't want to say they're all the same, but they follow very similar tropes. Like, Mario and Sonic, like, they're different in their own right, like, in their own game mechanics. But they're all, like, very different in, like, how they approach, like, level design and graphics and visuals and even story to some aspects. See, Nintendo always, like, puts gameplay first, right? And they think about like the story later.
Right.
I think a very good example of that is actually Splatoon. Because
Splatoon is an amazing game. Oh my god.
Thank you. See, I talk to so many people about how like, oh my god, Splatoon's amazing. It's like one of my favorite shooters. And people say it's not a real shooter though.
No, that. Oh my god!
I mean,
so
it's just ink. It's just a paint fight.
no, right? No, it's a painful, but
It's so much fun.
yeah, but
I know it still is,
But how
though.
it plays is incredibly fun.
It's so like,
mean, even
it's
with
all
the weapons.
fast paced, and every match like 2 minutes, making it super easy to just jump in and play it.
Yeah,
It's perfect. It's perfect because the thing I hate about like games like Overwatch is that every match is like 15 minutes long, half an hour long. It's fun, but it eventually gets very grating and boring to play.
I played a lot of Overwatch when it came out.
Yeah,
It was a summer break.
You mained like Hanzo, right?
I do. Hanzo was. I started playing that game and I was just like, oh, this is the one. I started with Bastion because right. A friend of mine who loved that game was like, you have to get this. I was on summer break, so I was like, oh, I'll play. And he's like, you have to start with this character if you're coming from traditional shooters. And I was like, all right.
Is that their
Bastion
him was
was
76?
incredibly unbalanced.
And then
Isn't he still unbalanced? Doesn't he
mean,
still take no skill?
No, not really.
well, I think the skill comes from, and I think what I like about Overwatch and why I played it so much, and I was up until like 6 a.m. every day playing, was that maybe like the character itself doesn't take skill to play. You know, like Bastion, right? His character, he's kind of big, slow, heavy gun, right? Like, and you just shoot, like.
Yeah.
But the strategy comes from being able to know at what point in the match you're using, and because all the matches are like, you know, necessarily they don't call them King of the Hill, right? But you're like trying to get the transport to point A from point A to point B, right? The payload run, and then you're trying to take over certain things. Like there's variation in that. That like it's terrible to like you're such an open target with him, and folks don't understand that. Then and I like.
Yeah, especially since once he turns into a turret, like there's
nothing you can do.
Like you can get a headshot like on his back.
Yeah.
So I think when people it's like when people say Bastion requires no skill, I think what they're trying to say is that it's just hard to fight Bastion.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of skill, but I think what folks don't understand is there's the team play aspect, right? Like he's good if you have like some other folks doing other things too.
Like good synergy, good team.
Right, and I think, you know, I played a lot of Call of Duty, you know, in my 20s because that was the game. You know, I played the first Call of Duty on PC, and we used to play this game called Tribes, and in high school, and they were great, but then they just all became like it didn't matter who you picked, really. There was no variation. Like it was just really like, can you shoot, right? Like, and I hate that like you didn't even have to really aim. You would just kind of shoot in the direction, and it was like you get the shot. And I was like, how did I get this headshot? Like, what's going on? And like Overwatch changed that for me. I was like, oh, you have to like have some skill. And
The characters in that game look really colorful, and including the environment and the.
I think all about that's the same with Splatoon. Like
my
the
God,
colors,
yes,
everything.
absolutely.
Like it's just much more appealing.
Like my favorite part of like games like Overwatch and Splatoon is how like the visuals are so like they have so much thought put into them. Like if you look at the concept art for either of those games, it looks beautiful, and like especially Splatoon, I think the highlight of that game is its aesthetic. Because the Inklings are like an ingenious character design.
Yeah.
Like I think
sure.
they're a perfect fit for the universe.
All these basics.
What did you say?
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought. We don't speak of that game in here.
I don't even know what game it is.
Good. But yeah, Splatoon.
Have fun looking it up.
The best part about Splatoon is that like they design these characters, this world, and like they sort of build the gameplay around it. And I think Overwatch does the same thing with like characters like Lucio and Diva. They're all perfectly like enmeshed in this universe, and I think they do a great job with like world building. Not so much Overwatch.
Oh.
But, you know, I still think they do a good job and put a lot more effort into like the story and lore than most game devs do, which I would love to see more of.
No, yeah, but they're completely different from the other shooters like Battlefield or Call of Duty.
Battle. Or Fortnite.
See, like I'm
Fortnite doesn't really have a story, I think.
It
no,
does.
It does
It
have
does.
sort
It does.
of a story.
Oh, okay.
No, it does.
No, I said it does.
Yeah, it's like a complete story if you're willing to pay earlier to access it.
Listen, normally I wouldn't
Pay
want
for
to.
the story.
Normally I wouldn't want to pull this
Early
card,
access. That's
but
like saying-
tell us about. Tell us about Fortnite.
It's like saying.
Tell us about Fortnite.
Which one? Save the World or Battle Royale?
Tell us about the story.
I'm just gonna have a very unpopular opinion right now.
Oh.
I hate Fortnite.
Oh,
It's not that bad for story mode. What time your pops up?
thank you so much. I hate Fortnite.
I downloaded it on my Mac. I put it on my PlayStation. I put it on my Xbox, and I try to play with people. I was like, man, I can't get more than 10 minutes into that game where I'm just like, oh, this is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, this usually Battle Royale. It happens the same thing for me. Like after a couple games, you're just like, this doesn't seem right. Just give up. But on the story mode, it's like interesting because overall, there's multiple areas where you had to build a home base. And the first one, you have to like level it up, and then you unlock other areas to build your home base on. There's also, cause there's a different concept on the other one. It's like a cool concept. Cause on Battle Royale, the storm that you get hit by is just a normal storm. But on Save the World, there's actually a zombie horde, basically. But they're called the Huskies.
The Huskies.
Husks, basically. But we just it's really complicated for.
Oh, like a husk.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
really
alright.
bad. Cause there's different kinds. There's like the shadow monsters, which are the storm monsters. Basically, they come from the storm, and they're like, they're not human before. They created from the storm.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and the guns are different as well. Like the AR like shoots like a minigun on the normal mode. It's very strange. So there is a story overall, but
Oh.
yeah, you can save people if you want, but it's not like the other games where you have a main story.
Yeah.
Good. I won't play it. I just don't even feel like playing it.
It
at
comes
all.
for free after
Good,
a while.
Yeah, I can see that.
Good. I won't play it. That's the appropriate reaction. We're almost done. So I really wanted to talk more about Mario Odyssey with you, right?
Yeah.
Because like I feel like you should have a lot to say about that game.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm distracted because I'm playing this Sonic games this whole time. I've been not ignoring you, but indulging in games.
You're clearly
while
not
we-
ignoring us. It's fine. It's fine.
Sonic Mania.
We've
the
got a
popular game.
Switch in here, and Mr. O's just playing it. Cause
No, yeah. Then my Switch is in my backpack right now. I don't actually. I've never owned Mario Odyssey. Miss Fawn.
oh yeah, you got it lent from
Miss Fawn bought a Nintendo Switch. I was kind of trying to convince her to be like, hey, you mentioned you want a console. You should get a Switch. And it was a devious plan because I wanted to play. I was like, well, if she has it, then during my prep, I can just borrow it.
Did it work?
And it worked. She got the Switch. She enjoys it very much. And I started playing Mario Odyssey like that. I was just borrowing her Switch and playing it. And then I ended up beating the game before her on her console.
What
Wow.
did you think of the ending?
I like the ending. And we've talked about this, right? Like there's so much more to do after the ending.
Oh my god, there's
Yeah.
And
it unlocks like the next
new,
the next 2/3 of the game.
By just hitting cubes.
yeah,
Right.
and I don't know if I played beyond that. I think that for me, again, like I sat in my classroom playing often, after school or during my prep period, I might get in trouble for this, but it's all good. I enjoyed it that much.
I mean, it seems like it was worth it.
Oh no, it was definitely worth it. I just from the get, like I Mario's always been fun, right? Like the world variation, the little mechanics that they change. The hat thing was amazing, but like the pace of it, right? Yeah, the cap.
You can bother Arthur with that. He tried to play with me, and every time he tried to jump, I just go move out.
No, even
bought it.
worse. I tried to play 2-player Mario Odyssey. I gave Caleb
Oh yeah.
the Joy-Con with the capture button on it.
Yeah.
And he spammed the capture button. He took a
Anytime you walked away for 1 second, like 100
took like a
pictures.
ton of screenshot.
Even the hidden secrets like Poochie. And by the way, I bought a replica of Cappy.
Oh yeah, you had that Cappy hat one time. Oh my god, Cappy is
It's $19.
But I mean, like That's money well spent. I mean, the story of that, right? Like, it gives purpose for them working together, right? Like this unit, this at this point uniform, right? Because he never changes. He's always wearing the same thing, Mario, right?
I mean,
like,
aside from the hat, he's still wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Besides the cartoon, he still wears it, but it's different from that.
I mean,
It's still different though.
but like that change of like this like I'm
But I
going
see what you mean,
to
though.
live within your cap and help you out. Like, I was like, oh, that's an interesting little concept, right? And I was really excited about what they were gonna do in like the real people world, right? And I was like,
Dog City?
Yeah, like what was gonna happen there? And so I was like, can I throw this cap at these humans that are looking at Mario crazy?
you can throw it. You can throw it at one of them.
Yeah,
that's really it. But it's
If
still
only
kind of
you
cool.
could
But no, but
control
but-
Pauline. You could just like we
No.
No, I mean just walk
That's,
around or something.
that's dangerous territory.
Okay. No, I mean you just rule all of New
Listen,
Dog
have
City.
you
'cause she's the
ever
mayor.
been on Tumblr?
No.
Maybe.
I don't even know what Tumblr is. So
Good.
Don't worry.
Don't travel in there. Oh, I regret
Don't
it the
travel.
first second I
Or
stepped
maybe
in.
I'm
You'll have a
thinking.
bad flight.
Maybe I'm thinking about Twitter.
That's Odessa's territory.
Yeah, that's
Whoa,
Des'.
horrible.
That's Des'
I also don't have a
territory.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Never.
I have
Get
an
one.
email address.
Well, it was kind of good to
That works.
control
Does
Bowser.
probably a
everyone have
good
an
thing.
email address? Twitter is good.
Wait,
Oh,
Mr. O, what did you think about controlling
Oh, yeah,
Bowser?
Playing as Bowser.
Yeah.
I would have loved to play more as him, to be honest. They made him super fun to play.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I think it kept me going a lot, the game, and the reason why I played it so much was because it was these very simple mechanics, but by being able to live in these other characters, it changed it up, and it was just great. It was fun, right? I don't know. I haven't played a Mario game start to finish since the first Mario.
Wait, tell me if I'm wrong. Was this like the second time Bowser has been playable? Because counting
probably
Bowser's
not.
Inside Story and
No. There must have been several other occasions. Anyway,
Okay.
Juan, you must take your leave, unfortunately.
Yep.
Well,
It was fun joining you
You
guys
know-
this time.
Yep.
if
Hopefully we keep going.
only we had figured out how to hook up the mic faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go.
Thank you guys. Thank you all for.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And do the summer workout, Juan. We
Thank you
have
so
it
much
recorded.
for playing my game. We'll cut any background sound out. Anyway, you were saying about
You know what the thing is? What I enjoyed the most of Mario, it wasn't even the game. It was just the look on like students' faces when I was telling them like I was playing Mario. They were like, "Oh my God, why are you playing?"
I saw
I
the
was
trailer. I was
I
jaw
was
dropped.
honestly like really happy when I heard that you were playing through Mario Odyssey because like I loved Mario Odyssey every second of it.
Yeah.
It was it was so much fun to play through and
The
like
bosses
just getting to
were good.
share that with
Yeah.
someone is great.
No, I think for me it's that like it's this like
Have you seen the rabbits in that game? The
Rabbits?
Brutals.
Oh yeah, there was.
Topper, Harriet.
mind if I join in? I mean, sure. Hop in, take a seat.
Top.
Did you play the game?
I
played
really,
the game. No. See what he did.
Just put it in your hands right now, okay?
I really want to get a Switch.
We've
'cause
talked
I
about
was-
this.
Last time I went to France, I
Yeah.
saw this guy on a plane, and the entire time he was playing Stardew Valley on the
Right.
Switch. I'm like, oh my god, I want to do that so bad.
Oh yeah.
But it's just
Oh yeah,
like,
Emmet is in here now. Say hello, Emmet.
Hello, I'm Emmet. And
No, we know who you are.
yeah,
You're in the last
currently,
episode.
I've been playing I've been trying to beat the darker side of the moon in Super Mario
Oh, the
Odyssey.
darkest side of the moon.
Yeah.
You played through that?
I didn't.
That
I
part is
didn't.
You gotta
Bullshit.
it's hard as
I
as
can't
hell.
even get past
Okay.
the Mecha Brutal at the end.
It's basically like a Champions Road type thing, like in Galaxy 1 and 2 and
Okay.
3D World. Just a super hard level at the very end.
Yeah, it's very hard. I barely get past the beginning part. Okay.
Wrangle had to be my most competitive fighter in that game.
Rango was easy. You know, he was like the easiest like boss to like speed run. You could beat him in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Just hit his hat, jump, just hover, and then hit his head.
No, and then you back, and then once he comes out of his hat again, you can do a backflip, and then you can do it again, then you can backflip, and then he's dead. He's already. Speaking of speedrunning, it's like amazing the level that like people have already taken this game and like speedrunning and like finding glitches, and people manage to get the jump rope counter. People manage to glitch that, get it to max out, which is pretty amazing.
I
It was
struggled with that.
the jump rope. You got to get 100 jumps for that.
Yeah.
For that
We
moon.
all want to see if they will bring back new costumes for like this year soon.
Oh yeah, this is unrelated to the topic. Y'all know about the Code Vein, right?
No.
It's an edgy anime game developed by Bandai Namco that involves vampires. They announced its
Dio?
release date. No, it doesn't have Dio,
Aw.
Especially
but it's
this
very,
character.
very edgy.
Well, we've
Okay,
seen that.
very edgy.
We need Dio. Dio is the best vampire ever.
They
Even though-
all look Russian too. They all look like they're
Even though
Russian,
he's
wearing
like-
Russian hats.
Could you imagine him having his own game though?
Even though he like. Anyway, that's another topic. That's a topic for another time.
Whoa, what's this?
It's been a while since I've played
Don't worry
my own
about it.
3D
Don't
platformer
leave it there.
Mario.
It's
I
pretty.
believe my first 3D platformer would have to be like Mario Galaxy 2, but I'm confused on the fact that 3D side-scrolling with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which was also my first.
Oh, Mario Brothers Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first.
Oh yeah,
that was
I'm,
actually
I'm
my
actually
first.
I'm playing
Mario
through that right now.
platformer.
I'm playing through that on right now with my Wii.
I finished the whole game, and you know how I was fucking scared. I was scared of how Bowser just turns into a gigantic size, and like I had a giant flat screen, and it was this big.
Yeah, he took up like 50% of the screen in that
Yeah.
part.
It was
It was-
scary.
But like, the thing about like Mario Odyssey is that with its like unique like capture mechanic, it like
Yeah.
just lets you do a ton of different like things. It opens up like a whole new slew of possibilities with all these enemies, like Bowser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
For Bowser, I
Uh,
can't believe
to me-
he's- No, go ahead.
some of the more recent Mario games, that's not Odyssey, has been generic, and always had these generic level themes that carries
Well-
over into other platformers. Sonic is in a trend where they're just copying and pasting level themes from past games.
Well, I think the real problem isn't copying and pasting assets. I think the real problem is level design and how you approach it. See, Mario Odyssey is an open world game, right? And
Yeah,
Sonic
yeah.
Forces is a platformer. See, what Mario does it incorporates platforming and exploration, and just beautifully. But what Sonic does is that in recent games they make it a platformer, but instead of putting actual platforms, they make it a hallway. And that's something that, you know.
And it's not like they
What would a
didn't do it good. I mean, they did it good 2 times.
I mean, what would a platform game be without platforms? I mean, you gotta think to yourself. like,
Right.
Sonic Forces is just the most straightforward Sonic game.
No, it's not the most straightforward.
I mean,
Well, what's the most
people really
straightforward?
hated it.
Sonic Schoolhouse.
Welcome to my school.
I'm like,
Sonic.
I don't think I've played a Sonic game since I played it on the Genesis, and I think every time I pick one up, well, I at a friend's house years ago, it always feels like the same game. I don't think they.
Oh no.
My
No,
first
it's
Sonic
like
game,
the Genesis games are all very similar.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, they're all-
The only real difference is like the levels.
My first Sonic
Yeah.
game, I
But
think I-
the reason why is so that they can focus on the evolutionizing the gameplay of those levels.
But they didn't do anything. I mean, well, I guess they did. Like Sonic 1, for example, started off very like slow and sluggish.
And had no spin dash too.
Well, I mean, the spin dash improves the flow of the game tremendously, and I think I think Sonic 2 and 3 like improved on game flow overall, like ingeniously. But then what they forgot to do was to like make the game fast, but you know still make it like interesting and actually have the player do things besides run. At the same time, though, they have to make it so that they can disguise careful platforming as going fast, which is something that is very hard to do. I think Sonic Generations and Colors perfected that like beautifully. Colors is my hands down my favorite Sonic game.
yours too.
Oh, dude, that was like one of my first games.
Oh, what?
What was that on?
It was on the Wii. I never got to play the
Mine
DS
was on the
version.
DS.
I've played the DS version.
Black.
I don't
was my
own
first.
it, but one of my younger sister's friends owns a 3DS with Sonic Colors DS on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
see, the Colors on the DS seemed like Sonic Rush to me. And
Yeah,
I wasn't a huge fan of Sonic Rush, so I didn't really care much.
Yeah,
for the
it
DS
is
version.
it's an improved version of Sonic Rush. It just has the wisps in it.
What were you saying, Idris?
I was gonna say that Sonic and the Black Knight was my first, and I believe you.
The
all of you.
Sonic storybook series.
Yep.
That I'm honestly really glad that only had 2 games.
Yeah, Black Knight was
The Black Knight was, what is there to say about it that hasn't already been said?
well, you can use the sword that can talk.
You can it's Sonic.
It's just waving it.
It's the same thing as Sonic in a hallway, but now you have a sword.
What is this?
And no
Skyward
platforms.
sword? You just.
Oh yeah, it did use motion controls. You had to waggle the Wiimote.
Yeah. And the
Oh, see, like all those mechanics are fun when you first grab them, and I think for me, like that, what Mario.
Oh yeah, with Cappy
was great.
Totally.
But not even that, right? Like I think that like for me, like the difference between like Sonic and Mario, and why I enjoyed this game is because they add new mechanics and they're able to layer in things of the past, right? So like the 2D side scrolling.
Yeah, that's what
the
Sonic
other
Colors and Generations.
Never fear. That's why Mario and Sonic was invented.
Yeah,
Except they were
that's
Olympics.
That's what Sonic Colors and
Sorry, go ahead.
Generations.
But yeah, no, those mechanics, right? Like they keep you going. Like when I play Mario Sunshine, that game, right? Like they changed it. They added some kind of new mechanic, new thing you can do with Mario. That was very different from the, I played Mario 1, 2, and 3. And 2 was that like offshoot non-Mario game.
No, but
that is great. I love it.
good.
No, it was good. It was great. But they never went back to any of that things, really.
Yeah, it was an improved version of Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah.
They could have actually released a Mario spin-off game.
I mean, Mario Brothers
uses
2
gameplay-
did come before Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, well, I mean, the real Mario Bros. 2.
No, I mean,
the real Mario.
what I'm trying to say is that like, Doki Doki Panic was a
Tie-in game. It was a tie-in.
it was a retexture of Mario 2, which means Mario 2 was the original.
What? No. Mario 2 was the retexture.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Mario 2 was a retexture.
I think what happened with Mario 2 is that it went like a bit too far off.
Well,
Like with things like motion controls and like changing up like gameplay, you have to make sure that like the core of the series is still there.
First appearance we saw.
well, the thing is, but Mario in Mario
No, I said
2,
the first appearance. I believe we saw
Nintendo
Birdo.
of America
Oh, Birdo,
refused
yeah.
the original Mario 2, which was re-released as the Lost Levels, and it was a super hard game.
No, but
that was super unfair, and they didn't want that game because it would be too hard on American players. So what they did is they basically brought in they basically just retextured the Doki Doki Panic for the NES, and then later they released it
Literature Club.
and then later they released the Super Mario Bros. 2 USA in Japan as Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. But
Well then,
even though customers are basically getting a Doki Doki Panic,
we need to
it's
have
a limit. It was probably Doki Doki Panic was probably a limited release because I heard that game was a tie-in game to some sort of TV festival in Japan.
We need to have a whole episode regarding this whole debate. Which came first, Mario Brothers 2 or Doki Doki Panic?
Well, it did.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to wrap this whole thing up, especially since Caleb is not doing so well in Mario Odyssey right now.
He's through all these.
He has no idea what he's doing.
Oh, we should. Well, I can help. I can help with that.
But before
we can.
before we
know.
go though, is there anything else you want to say about Mario Odyssey or maybe just video games in general?
Yeah, I mean Mario Odyssey. I really enjoyed the fact that it was done in a way that I can pick up this game and still have fun with games. Like I don't think I had fun with games, and with my friends, I've always known as the person that buys a bunch of video games and doesn't finish them. And I enjoyed them, but I don't think I enjoyed and was obsessed with the game as much as when Mario Odyssey came out, and I was on that. And I think that everything, like the level design, just how fun it was, how like you had to put in hours, but I was never bored. Like I was never frustrated where I was like, I have to just finish this because I want to just end it.
You'll get frustrated
And
at
then-
Darker Side.
Oh no, you won't. It's
And then
not that bad.
and I haven't gone back. So maybe for me, like that space, I finished the game and I felt good.
How far
I
did
can
you
go
get
back.
into it exactly.
Oh man,
Like how many moons?
I don't remember right now. My game save file is still on Miss Fawn's card. I don't remember now. I know I wasn't anywhere near where you were at, but I had like quite a number of
Oh,
moons
I
because then
got-
I started doing like
I actually,
this.
I got all the moons. I like 100% of the game.
But most games, I'm like, I just want to stay on the path, finish the game, get the story. But Mario, I was okay exploring, and I think that's what I enjoy. And I think for video games, I'm at a place where I want story and mechanics, like not just. It's important. I played God of War not on the hardest level this time around, like I play some other games, because I didn't want just the challenge of beating up these creatures, but I actually wanted to sit there and enjoy the story, and I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to be playing games again. I put down Zelda for a little bit, and I picked it up
Wild?
again. Yeah,
Oh, that game is actually pretty good.
I picked
My
it up
brother-
again a couple weeks ago, and
Wait, my brother played the shit out of that game. He got the Master Sword, the shield, and everything.
Oh yeah, I got the Master Sword too. I didn't get the shield yet.
I haven't played Breath
He
of the
got
Wild
all-
yet.
oh man, that
You're missing out, man.
Oh,
And he
believe
even-
me, I know.
He even
That's
got
great.
all the beasts, the divine beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I got all the divine beasts.
I don't know how to play this game. You can shut your
Caleb,
mouth
Caleb,
for like
you do not
10
know how to
minutes.
play this
You
game.
need assist mode.
I did it.
You need assist mode.
No, he
got it.
doesn't. Assist mode is for game journalists and only game journalists.
I got this, alright? Oh, I missed.
I'm up to 800 moons, I believe.
oh
Oh
man,
yeah, right. Oh,
Or no,
oh yeah.
900, I believe.
I
know,
think. Wait, hold on. Okay.
Yeah, there's something you guys should know. You guys all know that Shigeru Miyamoto didn't do this game. Like he was supporting it, but he didn't
His
work.
role
on
was very minimal on
Yeah.
it. I guess.
Yeah.
In fact, the younger
yeah.
staff at Nintendo, was the ones who were doing it. So, all the stuff from Mario Odyssey is from the younger staff members, because normally they'd be forced to listen to the higher up executives who are normally older.
oh,
Gave up
They
once
give
you.
you a dinosaur. That's so stupid.
You gave up once you got to the T-Rex.
I was
You
so
guys-
excited when that happened.
Let me challenge.
Why?
Let me
And
You can jump that high?
and there we go. Skip the whole thing. And okay, we're gonna have to end it off. Unfortunately, thank you for
no,
coming
thank
on
you for
the show.
having me. And
Thanks, Mr. O.
when you are a few episodes down again, please, I'd love to be back on. This was nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd be glad to have you back.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to listening to this and to catching up on some of your other episodes. And
Oh yeah,
I've been
we've
meaning to
got-
play Stardew Valley since you
We've got to.
since you suggested it, but
We gotta talk about that game. You love that game.
Yeah.
I
was
I can't wait.
500 hours
We
on
gotta.
oh man,
I plan on getting a Mega Man 11 as soon as it gets out. So
Oh,
we
dude,
gotta
so do
review
I.
that game. We gotta review that game. Mega Man 11.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all for now.
All
Stay
right.
good, nerds.
You know that was me, right? Y'all know that was me, right?
What was you?
That put up the list of everyone that died in Infinity War.
That was you?
Ah, shit.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I did
It's
that for
bad,
Combs.
isn't it?
Holy shit.